Hello.
An entire region holds their breath. Oceania, #1 seed, going straight up against the European champions of Mocket Esports. How do these two teams match up stylistically, Lawler?
It's actually really interesting to see a team like Mocket. I remember your quote so well about a team that is the best but the least performing in their series, but yet their play is very snowball. Once they get going, they will not be stopped. And we saw and got a good taste of that in the regional championship where they steamrolled through Gale Force in that bracket and then just kept going. Now with Alpha Sydney, they've had a couple things that have surprised us, and a lot of it had to do with those backward hits. I know you remember those 3 back-to-back-to-back, and they all gave us a heart attack. If they can apply that pressure and keep these guys on their back heel, don't expect that snowball to go anywhere.
This is going to be really interesting to see because between Denial and Mocket, there is such a huge, vast difference in the way they play. Denial, a team that prefers to sit back and allow the other team to come towards them. Mocket, on the other hand, are going to control boost and try and get that ball into the air as often as possible to outpace their opponents. That's what they've done to take on teams like Flipside Tactics and get that fantastic regional record against them. So they will need to do the same thing here. Do not sleep, though, on the Aussies. As Mystic's actually going to immediately look for K-Dot, those passing plays going to be crucial, and Drippy had Jake to look at far down the field. Fairy Peak cannot turn himself around for that ball, but you can already see Mocket taking those side boosts, going to try and completely squeeze out this Alpha Sydney team. It's very big, just putting shots on this. Every time it happens, more boosts being stolen. Torsus can get that one on the side. He's had a little trouble getting there. K-Dot with the shot, going to hit the post. But Mocket Esports finding themselves comfortably in offense to start off this game.
Well, it's great that you bring up that boost as well. The pressure so far hasn't been too much from Mocket as this Alpha City team's been able to handle it. But a big clear from Jake, absolutely crucial, allows this team some time, but it looks like this Mocket squad has other plans, pushes it right back in. A shot from K-Dop, saved by Drippe.
Yeah, Drippe just in the right position, but Fairy Peak can try for the follow-up. Jake pushes it to the side. Can he pick up that boost there as well? K-Dop just clearing that away, but Torsus, long looping clearance. The first time we've seen that ball in the Mocket half, and it's immediately taken away. Lovely 1-2 over to K-Dop. But Torsus doing a very good job of just positioning himself well, moving the ball away, and that's really important because I feel like if Alpha Sydney get themselves trapped in their own half for more than 20 seconds, they're going to be completely starved out.
Well, it's definitely because of the way that Mocket plays. That fast play style means you need a lot of boost, and the best way to do it is take the opponents while you're already up there. Fortunately for this Alpha Sydney team, like you said, another big high clear, able to control it and put it back down, but his team completely falls away as a pass comes up to Fairy Peak, a shot, and he gets the first goal of the day too.
And that is huge for Mocket Esports, a team that has struggled for confidence, getting that first goal, and it's a beautiful pass over to Fairy Peak as well. Tucks that one in nice and high into the goal.
Well, we got the, I guess the benefit of hearing the comms from these guys during the scrims. And I don't know if that one was in French or English because sometimes they like to leave Mystic a little bit left out.
So Alpha Sydney conceding their first goal. 3 minutes remaining though in this matchup. Plenty of time for them to get back. But they do need to start challenging in that middle area, start stealing those middle boosts and position themselves ready for 1-2 passes. Because currently they are trying to drag one person all the way down to the other end of the field. Drippy going to try and go for the double tap. Almost got it. Mystic has to clear that away so there will be no follow-up. But Alpha Sydney, I think they've just kicked themselves into the gear after conceding that first goal.
Well, Mystic is the team captain for this Mocket squad, showing exactly why that composure, showing up so well in that save that looked like it was going to be a double tap, or a Devo as they call it.
I do love the Devos. I'm waiting for them to get their first one, as Mystic can take this one up the wall. He got bumped though whilst he was up there, so he cannot go for the follow-up, but Fairy Peak will do it. We see Torsus not wanting to go for the immediate challenge, just hoping that the ball can come towards him. That is very dangerous style of play, but it does work out there. That's going to go off the backboard. Well played there by Jake to get there first, but Fairy Peak in that third man role puts it up just high enough. But there will be no follow-up. Mocket happy to sit on this 1-goal lead at the moment. As Torsus puts that back into the corner. Jake's going to go with the follow-up. But he's got the ball played over him by K-Dop. This is lovely passing play. Mystic, though, cannot make contact. Just a slightly too awkward angle for him to deal with. But Alpha Sydney, they need to start getting these passing plays together. Pass over to Jake, but 2 players went for it. Now Mocket can move themselves into the counterattack. Kadoff up high. Can he go the entire way? He gets bumped in midair. Huge there from Drippy.
I actually want to call that mid-air bump out. They've been doing that actually quite a bit in scrims. We thought it was unintentional, but that is now the 3rd time I've seen Alpha Sydney actually boost towards the player in the air to bump him out of the way.
Alpha Sydney getting more and more time in the offense, although the problem for them right now is they keep clearing it so far away that nobody can follow up unless they leave another player downfield. That is not going to get them back into this game. Drippy, lovely 1-2. Pushed all the way into the corner, but once again, Mocket holding 2 players back. That whiff could have been big, but Jake passes over to an area with no players around. Alpha Sydney need to get this offensive rotation going just a little bit more, start trusting each other, and to win those challenges or just to beat another player with a dribble. Very Peak puts it up high. Here comes Drippy. Another long clearance. And you can see Mocket just not wanting to challenge in that midfield area. They are happy to leave everyone back, almost baiting Alpha Sydney to come forward. Drippy takes that just over the top of Kadoff. Kadoff can keep going, but he gets blocked by Jake, who predicts the touch. Drippy up high, 14 seconds remaining. Alpha Sydney, one more opportunity. Ball is up high yet again. Drippy's got it, but lovely challenge there from Mystic. Can take it down to the other end. Alpha Sydney now need to drag this the entire way. Very Peak shot puts that down to the floor. Mocket Esports. It was not a huge win, but it was still pretty controlling from them.
Fantastic and very controlling, like you stated. That clock management in that last 30 seconds was absolutely fantastic. They weren't forcing any plays. They weren't getting in the contest. They were just sitting back, being patient, and then big, long clears. Fantastic play from Mocket to close that one out.
Yeah, but we saw as that game went on, Alpha Sydney pulling themselves out a little bit more. You can see the communication. Yummy Cheeseman's been talking about it all the time to us. Alpha Sydney need the comms on point. And as soon as someone started, you could actually tell the moment someone started to mention, leave someone upfield, because they were going for these long looping touches to get the ball away from their own net, but there was no follow-up. And then about the 2-minute remaining, that suddenly changed. It's the comms right now for Alpha Sydney. Their ability to adapt will pretty much show us whether or not they will be a force to be reckoned with in this series.
Well, 9 shots to 3 in favor of Mocket on that one, and you saw a lot of it did have to do with keeping that Alpha Sydney team on that backside. They were in that corner quite a bit, and anytime Kadoff is a nuisance when it comes to taking your boost, and he did it time and time again. A lot of that did spread out the field. It gave them a lot of opportunities. But Alpha Sydney, closer and closer, they're able to move it downfield, and a couple of those plays, even that dribble in the midfield, got contested pretty early by Mystic. But if they keep, bringing that into their repertoire, keep expanding upon what they're going to do, eventually they're going to find out, and then Mocket's going to have to adapt it the other way.
And I really want to ask you this right here. Mocket, they are very well known for trying.
Me on the spot.
This is going to be an easier one for you.
All right.
They're well known for taking those side boosts all the time. What does that do to you as a defending team when you've not got any of those available?
So the big, okay, that was caught us off guard. But the big problem when you have an aggressive team is they need boosts to get up and make plays.
Mystic double tap!
What a shot! What a shot from Mystic. There's the Devo he was looking for, a previous teammate of that man, but going up and using the box side of that car. Instead, he flips it around again using the wheels to make sure he can play that at an even sharper angle. What control from Mystic.
This is a team that excels in the air, and they have just shown it right there. Mystic coming out big.
How is he going to do it again? Okay.
He's not going to have the boost for that one, but he did try for it. Sometimes those bounces down can just be too much for you. Drake tries to go for the bump on Kadoff, but is not able to. Alpha Sydney had a couple of very interesting passing plays towards that middle side of the field in the last game, but just unable to make contact. Haven't really forced any major saves. Drippy trying to go for the dribble, cannot get the flick needed at the end. Now Mystic's gonna have to show him how it's done. Got the boost, goes for the launcher, but Torsus sat exactly where he needs to be. The keyboard player coming out and turning himself into a brick wall, but Mystic up there yet again. This team still trying to find the edge. Jake passed it into the corner where Torsus is waiting, but we can see right now the rotations from Mocket. So good, one play, two play, three play!
Save from Jake!
Very Peak is starting to find himself in this team. It's just been so quiet throughout the entire region, but it seems like he's been included in this rotation a little bit more, playing that third man role and coming in exactly when needed. These passing plays are really starting to tear Alpha Sydney apart. They are being stuck in their own defense for so long as Mockit get more and more comfortable. Mystic now by himself in defense. Drippy just not there in time because Mystic was in the way.
Well, Mockit is definitely self-aware of what was going on with Fairy Peak. He is the rookie coming in. They're kind of nervous on how he's going to perform. He even mentioned, like, he didn't even want to have his picture shown initially, but he is warming up. They're working him in the rotation, getting that confidence in him. And as that starts to happen, that aggression play from Fairy Peak is so dangerous.
You gotta remember, Fairy Peak was a player that didn't even qualify last season, playing for Luminance.
Yeah, he was like top 25
Top
or something
25
like that.
is exactly where they landed in the qualifiers. That's gonna go towards the net, but K-Dop has it covered. So this is such a massive step up. And he has performed fairly well so far on the big stage as he misses that ball, but Mystic can now go for the follow-up towards net, but Drippe has the save. Always positioning themselves sideways on that goal line, giving themselves a fair angle to work with. They can move forward or backwards. Although you would usually prefer yourself to be looking straight out towards the field if you are in net. K-Dop is going to leave that for Fairy Peak. It's a good challenge. Torsus up high, and look at that car. That is shiny.
I wish I had a 20XX.
I wish I had anything, but there we go. Drippe unchallenged, and he's going to get the goal for Alpha Sydney.
Shot coming out. Torsos plays that beautifully up, but K-Dop was waiting for it. Unfortunately for them, Drippy saw that from a mile away, beats him to the ball, and then that shot placement, top right, cannot be beat.
And that's really interesting there from Alpha Sydney. They've noticed Mockit Esports are holding themselves all the way back to the goal line so often, so why not pass that midfield? Why not open up a little bit more space to take the shot? And you always get more power onto the shot if you are running into it from the side.
It's something that scares me about this Alpha Sydney team, the way they adapt to their opponents. The more and more these guys play, the better. They've only been susceptible to the best play in the world, and now they're showcasing that they can compete.
Torsus gets that just over to the side. There's going to be no follow-up. Torsus leaves it for Drippe. Shot goes up high. It was going to hit the crossbar anyway, but Fairy Peak picks himself up a save. Jake and Torsus going to be happy that the ball went so far away because they did double commit, and Mockit finding themselves in that penalty area for so long. Here's another passing play. Mockit have to adapt to this because they are being torn apart by these passes.
They absolutely had no boost. All of them were hovering right around 25. You saw Mystic try to double commit on that back boost, but unfortunately had to run into net. But that breakout, so crucial as Jake places that back in the corner. A shot coming out, saved by Fairy Peak into the corner.
Torsus is going to miss that as well. Fairy Peak can now try and take this the entire way. He sees Drippe quite close, who wants to take the ball up high. That's going to find K-Dot, but Jake is there in time. And it goes the entire way. Jake really the standout performer for his team yesterday. Can he do it again here? K-Dot tries to go for cranes, gets himself a second contact on the ball. As Mystic puts it up high, it's going to allow Jake to come back in. Going to go off the top. There's going to be a follow-up. Here comes Torsus, puts it towards the net, and Alpha Sydney have the lead.
Slight hesitation from Fairy Peak here. He sees that it's going to hit the crossbar, but he lets his teammate get it. Unfortunately for him, this Alpha Sydney one step ahead, comes in for the demo, takes out the only defender, and they go up by one. Game number 2, Alpha Sydney on top.
47 seconds remaining, and the crowd is going. They have certainly picked Alpha Sydney as their adopted team. Can they convert that into a win? As Drippe, long clearance, 35 seconds remaining here. Mystic's going to go up high. He's going to be challenged by Torsus, who gets there first. K-Dop's got Fairy Peak along with him. Going to pass it up high. Fairy Peak wins that one outright. There's only one player now left in defense. Jake is actually backwards, but nothing too dangerous for him to deal with. Pass out to K-Dop, save from Torsus. 16 seconds remaining. Attempted early shot by Mystic. As we go to the last 10 seconds, Fairy Peak too far to the right from him. 8 seconds. 5 seconds left now. Mystic, last chance for Mockit. The ball is up high. Here's the follow-up. Saved by Torsus. Fairy Peak now with the follow-up. But Drippe and Jake secure the win. Alpha Sydney are on the board.
I don't think it's big fish, small pond anymore. These boys are here to play.
Oceania, welcome to the RLCS. And you can see the boys right there just in the zone. They are not taking that one win as enough. They can now focus on winning this entire series against the #1 seed from Europe. We all played them down. we shouldn't have.
No, these guys are playing absolutely fantastic. And to touch on it a little bit again, the way these players adapt in their element, it's something that it's really interesting to see a team that they do have a very small player base compared to the other regions. And because of that, they can't breed this competition that we get over here. And the ability for them to then pass that over and really help out by learning from these top tier players in these scrims, like, it's crazy to see how much these players have to respect them based upon just simply a week of play other than like the boot camp they got to do a week ago.
And the interesting thing is, Alpha Sydney, the whole of OCE, did not have SART BC. That was the cause of our first 2 seasons being dominated by EU because there was such a big player base on SART BC for Europe. It doesn't seem to have mattered at this point. OCE, they didn't really care. They didn't need servers on there. They were playing it anyway.
I mean, it was nuts because we were talking about like the history and how when is the gap between the vets versus the newcomers gonna close? And I think this is a perfect showcase. Like the absolute newest of comers coming into this match and really taking game off that first seed from Europe. Unbelievable play as we start this match number 3. 10 seconds gone, and it looks like Mocket is gonna try to push this downfield with a pinch back to middle as K-Dot puts a screamer into the net.
Yeah, Mocket need to really get themselves into their element here, start stealing that boost, start going for speed play. They slowed down way too much in that last game. As K-Dot accidentally passes it out to Drippe, but there is a challenge. So Mocket are actually going to start finding themselves low on boost themselves. Torsus is going to go up for the challenge early on, but cannot get there. Mystic now takes control, goes for the shot. Jake is not in position, hits the sideball. And Mystic, perfect placement.
Fantastic plays from Mystic, gets that aerial, actually goes upside down and gets a ground pitch past that last defender. And then the placement, he actually hits a negative angle with that flip. He jumps from one side and then spins to the other way. It pushes the ball back across his body and into that far post. What a play from Mystic, their captain.
He's going to wrong foot Jake as well because Jake sees him on that side of the ball and automatically assumes it's going to come near post. Mystic, yet again, really have to say he has been the standout performer so far for Mocket. As Drippe looking for Torsus, very good play there, trying to use 2 players to work the ball out of their side of the field rather than going for long clearances. As Torsus now with the follow-up, plays that one straight down. That roof's going to be very dangerous. Well played by K-Dot to get there just in time. As Jacob will be on later on today. He's going to clear that one straight into the middle.
Your favorite 5-letter word.
Played straight to middle. Fairy Peak's now put out 2 players. Torsus can rotate himself back though. Push the ball into the corner. Drippe going for the ball aerial. Cannot push it out too much. The gameplay is definitely slowing down a little bit here. Both of these teams just taking a little break. You really, I mean, if you mock it, I almost don't understand this because it just allows Alpha Sydney to talk more and continue to improve themselves.
I think it's good though. They're reverting back to what worked in the first game. They slowed it down, they controlled their pace, played a little bit defensive.
Well, there's no one back. Oh. Mystic has to rotate himself there just in time as Jake looking for Torsus. Torsus cannot get there though, needed to be a little bit further back so we could run onto the ball rather than just trying to flick himself into the air. Now shot from Mystic, almost tries to wrong foot everyone again. But Jake can continue to carry the ball. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining here. Only 1 goal separates these 2 teams.
Well, the ball is played back up high. Mystic there first with a shot on net, pushed over by Jake. It's immediately met by Fairy Peak, who gets bumped. Works out really well for Alpha Sydney as they're trying to contest this back inside, but a couple missed touches keeps it on the side of Mocket as the shot comes in 50-50 going back out in front of the net. Push into the corner, Torsus' chance to break out.
Yeah, Torsus got the boost as well, so he's going to be allowed to dribble this. But Mystic, another early challenge from him, not wanting that ball to go past the halfway line. You can see the aerial play coming out from Mocket.
These negative angles from both Fairy Peak and Mystic, aplenty as a demo. Not able to get to it, but it goes down to Mystic, missing just wide.
Long ball there. Played straight over to Mystic though, from Fairy Peak. This is going to go up high yet again, Fairy Peak. A long looping ball. But these are just going to go straight back to Alpha Sydney. A long shot. K-Dot and Mystic have that one covered though. As K-Dot just pushing it away. Tries to steal as much boost as possible on his way down there. K-Dot's actually got his opportunity to pass that in. But Mocket not setting themselves up correctly. Keeping people on the wrong side. That there's going to be no pass available. Jake puts that one straight down. That's actually really dangerous. Puts the ball up by Torsus with the follow-up. Can he drop onto the ball? Hits it, but Mystic, yet again, he is outstanding right now.
Mystic, one of the best performing players, goes for the fake pass inside. A 50-50 and a goal from K-Dot.
It was messy. see, it wasn't clean, but it is a 2-goal cushion now for Mocket, immediately responding after being put under pressure.
Taking whatever they can get, just forcing their way through to secure that goal. 2 goals up, 1:30 left in this third match.
Oh, that could have been straight towards net, thankfully for Mocket. Leaving someone back, if they had sent both players for boost, they would have been caught. And allowed Alpha Sydney a door open back into this game. K-Dop pushes that towards Drippy. Drippy's touch could actually been challenged, but instead he's going to rotate back. Ball coming off. But here's going to be the follow-up by Torsus. Gets it past one player. Mystic tries to get himself back. Mystic yet again! The clutch player is completely shutting the door on Alpha Sydney.
That was actually on Torsos. He had a fantastic play past the first defender, but because he pushed it, it was out of his reach. He was just trying to shadow that last save and give himself an opportunity in the 50-50. Well played by Mystic to put that back outside using the other side of his car.
Lovely touch there from Drepe, not allowing the pass to the middle part of the field to come through. K-Dop with the shot, bounces off the sidewall. There will be no follow-up by Mocket. They understand they are comfortably in the lead and do not need to push their luck. There comes Mystic, double tap from Mystic!
He makes it look so easy.
What did he do between regionals and today? He is absolutely on fire.
There was something about their scrims. It's like they wanted to get out all the bad, like, voodoo that they had going on. Like, something about their scrims, they just weren't looking comfortable, and he's like, you know what? It's fine. We're gonna, like, hustle all these teams because Mystic is on fire this weekend.
Ball played off the side. 15 seconds remaining. We can pretty much call this now. Alpha Sydney have been completely dismantled by a single player, but they are not out yet. Still, one more game needed by Mocket to close this out. As Drippe gets challenged by Mystic. 2 games to 1. Mocket are in the lead.
Match point for Mocket indeed. 1 game away from avoiding, as these guys are not done just yet, not allowing this ball to touch. There it is. Mocket Esports going to be taking game number 3 up 2-1 in the series. 1 away from match point, trying to avoid that lower bracket as the number 1 seed coming in.
And the huge thing there, we just saw a little glimpse of it, but Mystic, 2 goals, but 6 centers. He is all over the field. He is not just a goal scorer right now, and that is becoming huge for his team. Alpha Sydney, though, they are playing really well. They just need to start controlling that mid part of the field. These ground dribbles, not necessarily something we associate with Mocket, but that is proving really good for them right now because every single time someone from Alpha Sydney comes out to challenge, Mocket are beating them.
Well, a lot of it does have to do, and kudos to Fairy Peak. He's definitely found his form. He's getting involved in that upper field, going for those 50-50s. That's how we saw that double tap actually out of K-Dop from Mystic was simply because Fairy Peak had a good 50-50. It bounced off the wall. K-Dop and Mystic were just like, all right, who wants it? It's free.
Yep.
So the ability to follow up a lot has to come with the way that Mystic is positioning himself. He's all over the field, and that only frees up their MVP player in K-Dop for Europe.
So here we go. Game number 4 is coming up any second now. Alpha Sydney are putting up one hell of a fight, but they do need to step it up yet another level. And let's think of it right here. Yesterday, they played against Denial, the number 4 seed for NA. Today, they're taking on the number 1 seed of EU. They're not slowly climbing up the ladder. They are instantly at the top.
It's such a change of pace as well. And they're going from a team, and it was actually surprising to see, because Denial is primarily a counterattack team. They pack the defense and then counterattack, and we saw that early from Mocket. As soon as Alpha Sydney's like, wait, this is familiar to us. They completely turned it on, the crowd got behind them, and then Mocket had to change it up again.
And how much do you feel like this is down to Alpha Sydney's LAN experience? Oceania, well known for having a lot more at live events.
Well, we've talked about Alpha Sydney. They've been on top for OCE for such a long time. That experience hopefully paying well for them as they're trying to battle back.
Oh, that's
30
a huge
seconds,
demo.
a demo, a shot, pass play set up, and this crowd is behind them yet again.
Fairy Peak was in defense, now he isn't. Taken out, and Jake will get the easiest goal of his career.
Poor Fairy Peak. They're like twisting the knife in this guy as he's back on defense. That's twice now that he's been removed from the play.
Alpha Sydney find themselves in the lead early on in this matchup, but they will not be able to rest on it. Those early goals, pretty much you do definitely get a much more likely chance of winning, but not necessarily the biggest push possible. Stripe looking for Jake, just pushes it too far though. As Torsus, you can see there, holding himself in that back line. The pinch though, gonna come up big. That's gonna be played to the side by Fairy Peak, and that's one thing that defenders are never quite ready for. It's something you also have to worry about whenever you are challenging, just the potential that your challenge can be nothing more than a power-up for the shot.
Well, as that pass gets played inside, K-Dot makes a good touch back to his teammate, maintaining possession, as Mystic does some spin-a-roonies up in the air, trying to get a goal for his teammate. But it looks like Alpha Sydney's going to be able to hold off another 50-50. Well done by Jake, the defensive monster for this team.
Yep, you saw him with the double save yesterday. You can see him back again, but he's whiffed that. Mystic looking for the tap down. Torsus is there. 2 players have committed, but Jake is still back. Low boost, and he gets it stolen away by Mystic as well, who plays that into the middle. Mocket Esports now finding these passes more and more, pretty much adapting to Alpha Sydney style by playing Alpha Sydney style. K-Dot!
How do you adapt to that?
You don't.
K-Dot coming up the wall, a beautiful touch to hug the wall. He spins into it to make sure he lands back on it, and then a double tap off that wall to play it back inside. There is no one on the earth that can make that save.
If you're in defense to that, there is only one thing you can do.
Pray?
Sit back, relax, and just enjoy the show. Long clearance, and we are now tied up in this series. Remember, another win for Mocket will put them through to the next round. Alpha Sydney just trying to hold on to this series. As Jake puts that off the backboard, there's gonna be a follow-up by Torsus, but saved by K-Dot. And you can see Mocket not willing to put themselves on that goal line anymore to try and go for a predicted save. Instead, going for more and more challenges at the point of shooting.
Well, I do like seeing Mocket drop those passes back, maintaining possession. But it does allow this Alpha Sydney team to push back up as Torso's trying to do some dribbles with that KBM play style. As all 3 players getting involved, I guess is the best way to put that one.
That's actually really dangerous. They pass straight out to Jake. Drippe can keep this one going. Fairy Peak's gonna put himself on the wall. Passing it straight out to Mystic, but still too slow. Mocket looking really low on boost right now, and they have to get this away soon. Side boosts are still away from them.
Everybody's boosted back up now.
Yeah, very good for them. Now Mystic can get that one in the middle as well, as he puts it off the backboard. But yet again, Drippe Spider-Manning himself on there, and he can go for yet another play towards Drippe. It's put into the corner. Another long touch, but it's just a pass straight to Fairy Peak. He will look to go for the double tap, but Jake, crucial touch from him, does not allow it. Still 1-1, 1 minute and 38 seconds remaining, but these passes out from Alpha Sydney, 2nd time in a row. Fairy Peak is gobbling them up every single time. They just need to do something better with it.
Well, we talked to Yummy Cheeseman about it as well from this Alpha Sydney team. One again from K-Dot off the top.
K-Dot has found his form all of a sudden, and his form lies in the air. Look at it, just delaying that 2nd touch, not allowing a player to come in and challenge, and just putting it in at the crucial second to take it past the final defender. Minute and 24 seconds left. Alpha Sydney must score.
Ball getting played back inside as Jake is going to clear this one down. K-Dot pretty much on the ceiling to get that clear back into Alpha Sydney territory. But this is what I like to see some Torsos trying to dribble. Actually, he's going to play that straight down, gets past Mystic. As he tries to take a pass inside, that settles down. Fairy Peak able to clear it. Looks like he's going to go off the wall and touch that, but it gets contested. Ball in front, Jake with a shot. Can he make it? Save from Mystic.
55 seconds remaining. Alpha Sydney are prodding and prying. K-Dot will take the shot because no one is back
wide open
on Alpha
net.
Sydney. They committed too hard.
Hey, sometimes when you're down, they said you needed a goal. This is one way to do it. They commit everybody, but Mocket able to hold it off. Good recognition from K-Dot, noticing that it was a freebie and puts it right in.
Drippe's shot just needed to be more powerful. He effectively just dropped it straight down to his opponents. And Mocket Esports, they have been forced to work for this, as that miss from Drippe is going to cause more time to be wasted away for his team. Mocket just have to hold on, but Drippe with the shot on target, saved by Fairy Peak. As Jake puts it up high, Torsus not in position. Fairy Peak's going to latch onto this with another shot on target. Drippe has to get the save. 30 seconds remaining. They cannot afford to concede yet another one. Torsus puts it up high, goes for the follow-up, but it is challenged. Mystic not allowing any shots.
He's going to the
on his
wall.
net.
Look out, look out.
K-Dop up there, he's gonna miss that ball, but it is
15
more and more
seconds.
times being wasted. Jake gets the block. They have to get something right now and then
10
gets something
seconds
immediately off the kickoff. Jake plays that up high. Torso's gonna go from the wall,
5
but there's 5
seconds.
seconds remaining. You have to think at this point, it is game over. Mocket Esports have persevered and are gonna go through to the next round.
Back and forth this team likes to tease us, but it looks like the snowball is in full momentum as these guys are going downhill with it as they bounce back. And I've got to say, Torso said himself, quote, "We're so bad, I just want to be a good gamer." Torsos, you are a fantastic gamer, showing up for this team, battling in 4 games. I cannot wait to see what these guys do later on in the lower bracket.
K-Dop, huge in that last match. Mystic playing so well. And honestly, that's the most we've seen from Fairy Peak throughout this entire season. Really finding his form in that matchup. What a game that was.
Back and forth yet again, these guys trying to adapt, and the sportsmanship as always coming out from these players. K-Dop growing a liking, especially to Torsos in that KBM, the only player here using that KBM. But fantastic play, like you said, across both teams. Unbelievable matches. It just seemed like K-Dop and the boys in the air were too much.
It just, yeah, exactly as you said. There was just that mechanical difference. It seemed tactically, these two teams were very similar, but it was just the mechanics of K-Dop towards the very end coming up huge, and they did not know how to deal with it.
Well, we even said there's no way to deal with some of those shots. The way that he came in off that side wall, like just sneaking it in the top, like unless you're already on the wall, good luck, man. Good luck.
Well, what an incredible series we have had here. Oceania proving themselves at the big stage, but Mystic is going to be our interview over with Awesome Joey.
All right, guys, give it up for this guy, huh? All right, so I've got to ask you, going into this matchup against Alpha Sydney, kind of this unknown entity, saw him a little bit yesterday playing and stuff. Your guys' first game up on stage of the weekend, though, what was your guys' general game plan as a team going into this one?
Well, obviously we were in Vegas doing a boot camp, so we actually scrimmed Alpha Sydney, so we kind of knew how they play. It's pretty basic and it's not very difficult, so it's pretty easy. Yeah, well, I know that when all of us like show up and Fairy Peak does well, that we're just insane as a team. So I was just hoping my teammates would handle the pressure well, and it would have been a pretty easy win.
Very nice, very nice. So, so now for you personally, this whole experience and everything, and getting up here and playing, and then you came off, you seemed really hyped, and you were like, oh, he actually told me, I'm nuts. I'm gonna give it away. His exact words were, I'm nuts. So when you come out like that, and after a series like this, does that hype you up more? Does it just so much more confidence for your next games coming up?
Yeah, getting the first one of the day is definitely going to help. Obviously, Rogue are a really good team, so being hyped for this game is giving me a little bit more confidence, and maybe I'll be nuts again. So.
That's awesome. Anything else you'd like to say to your fans or anyone out there watching?
Just keep cheering for us. I know.
All right, guys, heard it from Mystic. Thank you so much. We're going to head it back to the desk. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joey.